So, if you've been scrolling social media at all lately, you've almost certainly seen this mysterious cocoa dusted cookie pop up on your feed. It's called Ddujjonku, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what it is. Yeah, it's that moment, right? The dramatic, stringy pull. That's what made this cookie an absolute viral sensation. It's like it was designed specifically for short form video. But trust me, there's a lot more going on here than just a cool visual. And by the time we're done here, you're not just going to understand the trend. Oh no, you'll have all the insider knowledge you need to skip the bad ones and track down the best possible version on your very first try. All right, first things first. What is this thing really? And what on earth does that name even mean? Let's decode it. I mean, that description really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what you see online. But that texture, that pull, that's just the beginning. The name itself is actually the real key to understanding the whole trend.
Okay, so the name basically tells the entire story in a nutshell. The Ddujjonku is not some traditional word you'll find in a dictionary. Nope, it's pure modern Korean trend slang. It's basically a headline squished into one word. Do comes from Dubai, John comes from John Dick, which means chewy, and ku is just short for cookie. It's a shortcut that captures a whole mood. Okay, so let's get right to the part that trips literally everyone up. If this is a Korean trend, why is Dubai slapped right in the name?
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? The cookie is baked locally, right there in Korea. So what in the world has Dubai got to do with it? Well, the answer is all about marketing and, the vibe. So here's the key thing to get. Dubai isn't a passport stamp, it's a feeling. It's what you might call prestige geography. The name is there to make you think of luxury, of pistachio, and that flavor profile from the other viral hit, the Dubai chocolate. Think of it less like made in Dubai and more like New York-style pizza. You know it probably wasn't made in New York, but you know exactly the kind of pizza you're going to get. But that vibe is only half the battle. The real star of the show here, the thing that makes or breaks the Ddujjonku experience, isn't the flavor, it's the texture. When you buy one of these, you're not just buying a cookie. You're basically signing a contract, a texture contract. So let's break this thing down layer by layer. You've got four key players working together. First, that bitter cocoa dust on the outside. Then you have the chewy, mochi-like shell. That's the Ddujjonku part. Inside that is the sweet pistachio cream, which is the flavor engine. And finally, the most important part, the crunch from toasted kadayif pastry. Each layer has a very specific job to do. When it all works, and I mean really works, it is this perfect, amazing duet of textures. The soft, chewy outside gives way to this incredible, satisfying snap inside. The whole thing just feels perfectly engineered. But, and this is a big but, if that balance is off, especially if that crunchy kadayif layer gets soggy from the cream, the whole experience just collapses. There is literally no middle ground. It goes from a delightful duet to what one person described as a sweet eraser. Yikes. And it's because of this high-stakes texture contract that getting a Ddujjonku has become more than just buying a snack. It's turned into a cultural event. It's a hunt. A lot of the smaller, independent cafes will only make a limited batch each day, which creates lines and those dreaded sold-out signs. And that scarcity, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It becomes part of the product story. It's seasoning. You didn't just eat dessert. You achieved it. You won. Okay, so you want to join the hunt? Where to even go? Well, you've basically got two choices. On one side, you have the indie cafes. They're probably going to give you that peak texture. Super fresh, super crunchy. But you're almost certainly going to have to wait in a line. On the other side, you've got the big franchise chains. Super convenient, always available. But that perfect texture, it can be a bit of a gamble. So you have to ask yourself, are you chasing peak texture or are you just looking for convenience? All right, you've picked your spot. Now let's make sure you don't mess this up. Here are a few pro tips to guarantee your first experience is a success. Seriously, these are the traps almost everyone falls into. Number one, and this is the most important one, do not wait to eat it. That crunch has a shelf life, and believe me, it is short. Moisture is its mortal enemy, so eat it as soon as possible. Also, do not put it in the fridge. The chewy part gets tough and the cream stiffens up. And don't be fooled into thinking a thicker cookie is better, because it often just means it's gummier. And of course, just a friendly reminder, pistachio is a tree nut, so please be mindful of that. All right, pull out your phone because you're going to want to screenshot this. This is your cheat sheet. The first phrase is easy, right? Do you have Ddujjonku? But that second one, that is the secret weapon. Asking, if I eat it now, is it crunchy? That tells the staff you're a pro. You know exactly what you're looking for, and it's the best way to guarantee a top-tier experience.
So what happens to a trend like this? Where does a word like Ddujjonku go from here? Does it just fade away?
Well, these kinds of food slang terms usually follow a pretty predictable life cycle. First, it's a viral hit, one specific thing with a catchy name. Then it goes mainstream, and the name becomes a whole category on menus. Before you know it, shops are getting creative, making seasonal versions or trying new fillings. And then you hit the final stage. The language itself starts to drift. Ddujjonku might stop meaning just this one pistachio cookie and start meaning any dessert with that chewy outside, crunchy inside profile. And really, that's the whole thing, the main takeaway. Ddujjonku isn't just a cookie. It's a shorthand for a promise. It's a promise of a very specific, very satisfying dessert experience, a chewy exterior giving way to a crunchy, creamy interior, all wrapped up in a package that looks absolutely amazing on camera. And you know, this is really how so much of modern food culture works now, isn't it? We take this big, complex experience and we squeeze it down into one perfect viral word. It really makes you wonder, what's the next big trend that's going to get its own catchy, compressed name?